Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. I don't think we're going to be here that long tonight. Rodney Jackson, thank you so much for being here. Lydia Washington. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Let's see, Connie Balmer. Connie Balmer, thank you so much for being here tonight. Let me see, Mary H, Gwendolyn Daniels, uh, Catherine is here. Thank you so much. Uh, okay. Peace and joy. Need that. Need that. Hi, Mama Jane. I can't stay out of trouble, can I? The harder I try, huh? The harder I try. Anyway, I keep rubbing people the wrong way, I guess. Anyway. Okay. Okay. Let me stop playing. All right. What was I saying? All right. Uh all right. So who's a working royal? I guess it depends on who you ask. Now, these stories are not important, right? Trust me, they're not. I'm not even going to talk about the stories themselves. As Sussexes prepare for latest quasi royal tour, Harry and Meghan being used as political pawns in Colombia. Well, okay, political pawn is a matter of opinion. The reason why I say that is because whenever the royals go abroad, whenever they take one of their, okay, not quasi royal tours, official royal tours, uh, it is either the request of the British government or they may have been requested by the foreign government, who will make their request through the British government. Either way, the government has to ask them to go, right? Usually, the bill for the royal visit is left in the hands of the host nation. It costs a lot of money. They'll send an advance team to make sure that everything is according to protocol and tradition and so on and so forth. And then they'll come up with an itinerary, which eventually will be shared with the public. But it is still an opportunity for the royals to be used as a pawn, whether it's for the British government and all the interests there within, such as, let's say, a corporation looking for contracts, military, whatever it is, the royal family has been used as pawns for a long time. The host nation, especially the head of state of the host nation, it bolsters their image. And how many times has Queen Elizabeth, how many times has she broken bread with a dictator, right? I mean, didn't she host Vladimir Putin? Did she ever host Idi Amin? I mean, she's hosted all kind of people, especially other royals who may themselves still be a dictator. And it's what they do. The Sussexes are not invited by the president of Colombia. They were not invited by the president of Nigeria. They were invited to Nigeria by the head of their military. And it had to do with what? Veterans. And of course, the Invictus Games. And there was so much that came out of that 3-day whirlwind tour. And then when you consider Colombia, this is not about the president of Colombia. This is about children, their well being. And of course, it is going to give them an opportunity to see Colombia as a couple for the first time. It is going to be very beneficial to local retailers and manufacturers, designers. Um, Everybody is going to benefit. There's going to be a host of people that will come to Colombia. A lot of people who were like, maybe y'all just show my support. Can I write a check? Well, now a lot of those people are going to show up. So it's a win win for everyone. And that's not to say that it's not a win win for um, any of the royal tours that the British government has gone on. But I mean, that the rest of the royals have taken. But we do know that the people of whatever nation is left holding the bag because they have to foot the bill for those royal visits. Okay. So that's the cost of doing business. I don't have a problem with that. It'd be the same as if any other head of state visit, or, like if the vice president or first lady visits another country, the host nation is going to be out of pocket for something. All right. So why are they talking about this? Because the royals aren't doing anything. Charles was not anywhere today. Camilla, there was no horse races, no flower shows, nothing. It was a nothing day for the royals. I do mean nothing. And the tabloids are just, I mean, their hands are itching with the anticipation. You know how they say, "Oh, my hand is itching. I must be about to get me some money." Their hands are itching because they know they're about to make some money. And then, of course, there's this one. So, what happened to Meghan's jam? As the Sussexes focus on another new uh, what is that initiative? How Dutch's idea, like an American Riviera Orchard, 40 by 40, and her Archetypes podcast struggle to lift off. They ain't struggled to lift off. The 40 by 40 was a success, Archetypes, a success, and American Riviera Orchard, trust me, it is going to be quite successful. So, this idea that anything that they're doing is struggling, the reason why I keep telling you all, don't pay attention to these things. Do not let them get under your blood. Um, all of this is designed for clicks and engagements. I didn't read either one of these stories. I just borrowed these so that I can make my case that the tabloids, as much as it seems like they just, well, and they probably do not like the Sussexes, but they do like money. And there's no big like celebrity story right now. There's no, you know what I mean? There's no big gossip or anything like that. So the biggest story that they're going to cover, even though we're in a presidential election season, we're not, it's not October. It's not November yet. So there's not a lot happening there. The next big thing they'll have for that will be the DNC convention, Democratic convention. Until that happens, not much, not much. So they have nothing but the Sussexes. That is their big money maker. So they are itching. And let me tell you, I am so glad that Harry and Meghan have been starving the tabloids. And what about that book? Wasn't there a book about Kitty that just came out? How come that book is not the big topic? How come The Exciting Life of Kate Middleton? How come that book is not on the New York Times bestsellers list? I mean, surely, surely there's got to be some interesting nuggets there, but it doesn't seem like it has moved the dial a bit. I mean, after all, she just had this triumphant return to Trooping of the Colors, the triumphant return to Wimbledon. Surely there's something to talk about. Nothing. Nothing at all. But I guarantee you that that when the Sussexes get to Columbia, all of a sudden they're going to talk about some scathing initiative that Kate is working on, and of course William is going to pop up and do something. Even though they're on vacation, they're they're going to have William out and about somewhere. They have to. They don't have anything else. Let me see. Leg says archetypes really piss them off. They really don't like when things have impact. Why are they getting more money? What are the taxpayer ones doing? Thank you so much for the super chat. What are the taxpayer ones doing? Well, of course, um, Archetypes was a huge success. Archetypes knocked Joe Rogan off of his throne as the number one podcast for the period while it was running. And that was the first time in what, 3 years that happened? As much as they tried to talk it down. As for the jam, there was no promise of a rollout at the time that those and Megan didn't mention jam. The people that she gifted the jam to, they were not obligated to share it on social media. They chose to do that. We don't know if there was like anything else accompanying the jam, like some personal note or whatever. We don't know. I mean, we saw the little card or whatever that came with it, but they don't know. And it's what they don't know that is really getting under their skin. They can't wait for American Riviera Orchard to come out so that they can try to knock it down. They can't wait for them to get to Columbia, so they'll have something to criticize. They don't have anything. This is exactly what we were talking about, is that after the coronation, they are going to go through about 10 years of nothing, maybe longer. The next big thing that will happen will either be a royal funeral, and then they're going to have to wait again for the wedding whenever George gets married. And in all likelihood, they're going to try to get George married first and then Charlotte. Although Charlotte may actually get married first, but they're going to try to get George hitched first. But it can't be, if Charlotte is anywhere close to getting married, and we're talking far into the future, if it's too close to a potential wedding for George, then you know Charlotte's going to have to wait. The same as when the Sussexes were married, Beatrice and Eugenie, they had to wait. They had to wait a proper amount of time before they were able to get married. So this dead space that they're suffering through with that institution, they may as well get used to it, because Kate is not coming back. The occasional appearance is not Kate coming back. She's not coming back. She's done. William, remember, behind the scenes, William will only make appearances that have a high impact and does not require him showing up. In other words, he wants to be like the Sussexes. Now, Kate wants to be like Meghan. I will appear occasionally. I mean, have you noticed that we've actually seen so much more of Meghan? Well, of course you have. Than we've seen of Kate. And she's the so-called working royal. We've seen more of Charles, and he looks particularly ill. Whereas Kate, she was running out of the farmer's market. I'm surprised she didn't qualify for the Olympics. They're done. The royal family's goose is cooked. There's only so much that Afro Annie can do. The Gloucesters, the Kents, they're all so old. And Vice Count Severin, or whatever they're calling him these days, since his father's got a promotion. Speaking of which, where is his father? Where is Edward? Where's Edward? I have not seen Edward for the longest, which is scary because he was looking unwell. That institution is on its knees right now. That institution is on its knees. By the way, thanks again, Lex. Yes, yes, I was just having this conversation with someone about everything that has happened with Kate and Charles this past year. If there wasn't anything nefarious or embarrassing going on, I'm going to say it again. Why would they both announce surgeries on the same day that were not cancerous? Then they became cancerous, especially Kate's when the heat was too hot. Then, of course, it was cancerous because they needed to leave to make people stop talking about it. Whether it was or it was not, it was only announced so that they can make people stop talking about it and talking about the very peculiar um, absence since Christmas, right? So that lets you know that there has been intense negotiation going on behind the scene, whether it's a separation, a divorce, and from some very, very, I would say, reliable people, the idea of a royal divorce in 2024, that drum beat was beating louder and louder and louder all the way up until the day they announced that surgery. And then it stopped, at least from the media. And I believe the idea of a divorce was leaked from Kensington Palace. Someone in Kensington Palace who was trying to, ease people into the idea that there's going to be a royal divorce. But separated, it makes so much sense. So I am going to allege that they are separated, just like I allege they have not shared the same home in quite some time. Adelaide Cottage was a way to keep the kids close while William allegedly lived at the Windsor Castle. That is where he lives. I don't know who in the world would stay in that little dank Adelaide Cottage when there's a whole empty castle full of nothing but servants just up the street. And you're the heir to the throne. If you have an apartment at Kensington Palace, he could easily have an apartment at Buckingham Palace, but nobody wants to be there. He can just as easily have an apartment, or may have always had an apartment, according to some people, at the Windsor Castle. That way, when you want to entertain or impress, what better place to do it? Why would you stay at Adelaide Cottage? Plus, if you are visiting with someone, your aides or whatever, then you and he, them and they, could have all the privacy they want. I believe it too. I believe it too. Yes. When did the dirty looks start? When did the dirty looks, the stare down, when did that start? I'm trying to remember, when exactly was it that the Cambridges, now the Welleses, when was that when they first started staring each other down? When they both started maintaining that something stank look on their face. I'm going to say it was likely before the Sussexes left. I'm sure of that. Um, 3, 4 years. Going after Harry and Meghan is running out of steam. It really is. The only thing that they get out of it at this point is that um, it shores up the base, right? It reinforces their constituents. And when I say their constituents, I do mean the royalists that are interested in that stuff. The last time there was a big spread about anything to do with the Sussexes, they were in Nigeria, right? The last time Harry and Meghan were together and there was this big spread of photos, in other words, a royal tour, they were in Nigeria. And even the tabloids seemed to celebrate the moment. And then, of course, at the same time, they were slowly and more persistently tearing them down. But for the most part, they loved it, just like they're going to love Colombia. They would never admit it, but they need it. They need it. There is so many other news sources out there. And even though a big share of the media is going toward the Fail and the Sun and other tabloids, when you think about mass media as a whole, there are so many other sources. So many other news agencies get those same stories across the wire. So they don't have an exclusive on these things. Yeah, once they get those kids, they're done. Once they get those kids, they're done. It seems like that is a common trait amongst the Prince of Wales. Is once they get those kids, emotionally, they actually the first child, they start to withdraw themselves emotionally, and by the time they have the last child, they are all but gone. There is it's marriage in name only. That seems to be consistent for the Prince of Wales. I mean, look at the Queen and Philip. After the first two children, they had that long period of time where they didn't have any more kids. And why is that? Because after Charles and after Anne, Philip lost interest, and I do believe the Queen lost interest. They lost interest in each other. And then later on, all of a sudden, here comes a couple of more kids. But they lost interest in each other. That is like the curse of the sovereign or heir to the throne. That is the curse. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was. And they could not ignore that in the crown. They could not ignore that in the crown. They had to address it. And if they were going to have any authenticity, they had to address it. Well, it would be the only thing to save face. Kate has to have that crown to save face. If she's gone through all of this and she didn't wear that crown one day, then it would be so embarrassing, not just for herself, but for her family. So, right here it says Kate Middleton isn't wasting time on drama amid cancer battle. She's very calm. The Princess of Wales 42 has been undergoing chemotherapy, so they say, treatment since revealing her diagnosis to the world in March. Let me see. Virtually no communication between the two camps. Jobson, whose book, Catherine, the Princess of Wales, a biography of the future queen, was released this week, also noted that Middleton made it known that she will not be rushed into doing things that she doesn't necessarily want to do. Why is that funny to me? She doesn't do anything. And the idea that she would be rushed, they have been fighting. They have been fighting. They have been using every temptation possible to try to lure Kate into doing some work since they were married. She is one of the laziest people ever in that family. She's not going to be rushed into doing anything she doesn't necessarily want to do. She doesn't want to do anything. Isn't that redundant? To even write that is just redundant. She doesn't want to do anything anyway. She doesn't do anything. Her staff comes up with these outings. They give her a binder that has nothing in it. She sits at the table trying to reenact the Last Supper. It's like a pantomime of the Last Supper. She doesn't know anything. She's not contributing anything. And then she goes home. She doesn't do anything, including returning to royal duties that take quite a lot of courage because you're in a very alienated world, Jobson told the outlet. But I think she realized that she only has one shot at this. She's got 3 children, and they have to come first. There we go. There we go again. Using the children as an excuse to not work. So, listen, as time has gone by and the excuse of I'm recovering, I'm in treatment, has worn thin, now it's back to the children again. In the past, it was the mother of maternity leaves because of the children. The only reason why she showed up is because the queen made sure she did. Right? That was when the queen still was younger and had more say. William can get away with Kate's not doing anything if she don't feel like it with Charles. But it didn't work with the queen. The queen need only leak to the press how lazy she is, and next thing you know, she couldn't work enough. Middleton, who shared Prince George, Prince Charlotte, and Prince Louis with husband William, is apparently taking advantage, you got that right, of the time she won't get back with her kids, Jobson adds. She is taking advantage of the time she won't get back with. That's weird, isn't it? How does that read? She's taking advantage of the time that she won't. We're all getting older. And as we get older, you got more time behind you than you have ahead of you, right? So we all would like to take advantage of the time we have left, right? We all would like to spend more time with our family, ill or in great health. We all want that. But not all of us are living off of the crown estate, of the sovereign grant. Not all of us are living off of that. Not all of us have married into a $1 billion fortune. Not all of us. So, yes, taking advantage, she is taking advantage. She's not taking advantage of time, she's taking advantage of her position. She's using her position to take advantage of the people, of the tax-paying people. There is no reason whatsoever why she's taken this much time off. The excuse that she's been going through treatment It's insulting to anyone who's ever either had cancer, has cancer, or has cared for a family member, or even lost a family member to cancer. It's an insult. And the only reason why more is not said about it is because the British public is not paying attention. They don't care what the royal family does. Only the hardcore royalists. And even though they know better, they're not going to say anything. They're going to make excuses for them. It doesn't make sense that Charles, nearly twice her age, or almost twice her age, is out there working and she's doing nothing. She's made an appearance publicly twice, and it's almost September. That is taking advantage. I said it. The difference between her and the people, I'm sorry, her and other people, that is that in your career, you may have different phases, she said, adding with her career, it's only going to get more and more official. It may get more and more official, but you're still doing less and less work. They make it seem like putting that crown on your head means you have no personal time to yourself. She's not the sovereign. She doesn't get a red box, does she? It's incredible how the queen was able to balance as much as she was able to balance through sickness and health, good times and bad. And yet the pampered princess simply chooses to do less, and it's okay. It's only going to get more and more official. So what? With two high profile public appearances under her belt, oh God, with two high profile appearances under her belt. And that's all it was. It was an appearance. It wasn't even work. The mom of three will be returning to life away from the spotlight as she continues treatment. Do you know why this is in the New York Post? Because it seems like bad timing to say this in any of the Murdoch papers in the UK. Why would they run this story in the New York Post about her returning to a life? She doesn't have to return to a life away from the spotlight. Her life is away from the spotlight. Do you see how ridiculous this article is? It is ridiculous. It's stupid. It makes absolutely no sense. They're running this article here because they don't want to risk having it show up in one of the tabloids, lest the British people would notice it. So that this way they can just kind of ease it on out there. Well, we did say it. Let's see. Oh, well, thank you so much for the PayPal. Let me see. I won't say who, but KH says, I want to thank you all for the emotional support you provided in the past year to me. That's all of us, you guys. I've found a community of loving, funny, caring people. I pray anyone who has gone through my obstacle is lucky enough to find you. With love, blessing, and all my friends. Let me see if I can see any further down there. I want to try to open up the whole thing. Oh, it cuts off. I never could figure out how to find the rest of it. But thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for being here. Greatly appreciated. And whatever those obstacles are, I wish you well. I pray the best for you. Thank you so much for that. Leg says the honorable thing would to not burden the taxpayers in these times. I am sure the British royal family would see the sense in that. Wait, what? No, let them eat cake. That's right. Let them eat cake. This is very much a Marie Antoinette moment. It really is a Marie Antoinette moment. It is capricious and it is very selfish, if you ask me. It is very selfish. Like I said, I've had my share of experience with cancer, and they're using it in the most offensive way, if you ask me, because it is a blanket coverage for anything that is questionable, anything and everything. So, for the royalists that's listening, for the derangers that's listening, how do you justify the Queen working? On, she made her last appearance 8 days before her death, right? She performed her last royal duty. What was it? 48 hours, 24 hours before she died. Even if it meant that she had to be stood in one place so that they can take a picture of her performing her duty. As Nelson said as he died on the deck of the ship, have I done my duty? Right? And yet, the profile encourage herself, Kate Middleton, shows up when she wants to. It begs belief that people are okay with this. Kate has not appealed to any particular cancer agency. You know what the extent of her support has been for other cancer patients? When she sat on that bench, like Renaissance Jesus, when she sat on that bench and said, "You're not alone," that was it. That was it. She was done. That was the extent of her contribution to all of the people in Britain that may be suffering from cancer. They don't identify the cancer. They won't say anything about it really, except she had surgery. They found out cancer was present and that she's receiving preventative treatment for cancer. And the fact that there's a big question mark over everything is because of the way Kensington Palace rolled out this information. The way that they faked photos, and William, who had credit for taking the photo, when the photo was found to be bogus, he left his wife twisting in the wind. Instead of him being a man, which a lot of people, even some of the royalists, called him out for being such a punk, and that was a punk move. Let his wife take the hit for it. Grow a pair. Thank you, Legs. The difference between her and other people is that in your career, you may have different phases, she said, adding, with her career, it's only going to get more and more official. What does that mean? That it's going to get more and more official. With two high profile appearances under her belt, as if she actually done something, the mom of three will be returning to life away from the spotlight as she continues treatment. What treatment? What treatment? Whatever it was, Kate looked like the picture of health at Wimbledon. Whatever it was, Kate looked like the picture of health at Trooping the Color, which is the only way she could justify going to Wimbledon, was to show up at Trooping the Color so that when she popped up looking vigorous, tan, rested, and healthy at the Wimbledon, it would make sense. I would think that the royals going about their business would provide a certain level of continuity in a nation that has just faced riots in the street. The reassurance of the royal family, according to them, remember how they said the queen? Well, the queen reassures the nation in times of trouble. I heard that Nicholas Witchell say that one time. Well, the sovereign reassures the nation during times of trouble. Then how does the rest of the people on the planet survive if they don't have a monarch to show up on television or release a statement for some of the things that happens like riots? In this case, there is no statement and there probably won't be. Very interesting, very interesting. And again, they released the article, they make their statement in the New York Post, right? A Rupert Murdoch paper. They could have easily have run this in the Sun. They wanted to say it and not say it all at the same time. Just like when they had the body double running out of the farmer's market, because their invisible contract says there are no paparazzi photos of the royals unless it's Harry and Meghan, right? There's no paparazzi photos. So, in order to get around that, they buy the very grainy substandard video in 2024 when everybody has a HD quality cell phone. They buy the video, they give it to another offshoot of Murdoch's, TMZ, because TMZ has a lot of credibility. Like them or not, they have credibility. So they give it to TMZ. TMZ runs the story. They do their master's bidding, right? Then people are like, yeah, but that's not Kate. They run an article about Kate at the farmer's market, but they won't show the pictures. They'll let TMZ do it. Why would the people that won't show pap photos buy a video from someone that is functioning as the paparazzi and then not show it in the country where they purchased it? They would send it off to the US, and that's their way of saying it and not say it. Just like this article in the New York Post, they're saying it without saying it. When the bottom line, lazy. The bottom line is lazy. When all is said and done, Kate finally has the life that she's always wanted. She gets all of the joy and celebration and accolades of a royal princess. Her mother, the air hostess, has found a way into the royal family. William has done the nearly impossible. He's actually married because nobody else in the country wanted him. Not one aristocratic woman would stand up. Not one aristocratic family would allow their daughters to be demeaned the way that Kate has been. The only reason why Kate is in a good position as far as the press is concerned, because they turned their gaze to Meghan. Because when it comes to a racist institution, whether it's the tabloid media or the royal family, Kate can have all the deficiencies in the world, but at least she ain't black. At least I don't think so. At least she ain't black. Anytime you introduce African blood into it, that is where people's attention is going to turn. They'll stop turning on each other. I'm serious, they do. They'll stop fighting each other. And they one thing they could agree upon is one of these things don't look like the other. Just like this song, one of these things don't look like the other. So let's make her life miserable, meaning, of course, Megan. And as for Harry, you're married to her? We're going to get you too. Lazy. She never wanted to work in the first place. It's interesting that having provided the template, having provided the model for Kate and William, how to do philanthropy or how to do the whole experience of being a royal, a working royal. All of that, they have modeled their new lives just like the Sussexes. They will make an appearance when it's absolutely necessary. There's no more opening up malls and hospital wings and stuff like that. Will and Kate is done with that. That is for the lesser royals. That is something for Sophie to do. They're done with that. They're not doing any more of that stuff. Wimbledon, BAFTA Award, um, football. Let me see what else. Troop in the Color. What else? I wonder how long Commonwealth Day is going to last under William. Commonwealth Day, the Christmas Carol. What's the other thing William has? The Earth Shot. There's going to be a handful of must-do things that William will show up for. There will be a few things that William and Kate will show up. And other than that, they're done. They are done. Oh, yes, CL, only men's tennis. And for William, only the men's football. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Yes, yes, yes. Very important that we stress that. Thank you so much. Only for the men's tennis. And for William, only the men's football and nothing else. Neither one of them showed up at the Olympics. Neither one of them showed up at the Olympics. Tomorrow's the last day. I doubt if either one of them will be there. They might show up just to get the glory at the last minute, but it's not enough attention. There's too many other more important people there. They're not interested. Well, CL, you broke it for that one. That was excellent. Mary H says, yes, Baron, exactly. The Middletons are living like the Sussexes. I was thinking the same thing, copying the Sussexes. Yep. The only thing that they can't do is take a foreign trip, and we know why. Because the last time they went to another country, they lost half the Commonwealth. The last time they stepped out together and went to a foreign country, it put the Commonwealth on the brink of collapse. So the government will not allow them to represent the British people. Just like that so-called trip to Italy that they were supposed to go on, I bet you it had nothing to do with the British people. It probably was earth flop, but it had nothing to do with the government because Will and Kate are not allowed to represent them abroad. They'd rather send Sophie. They'd rather send Afro Annie, but they are not going to send Will and Kate. That don't work out too well. They should be embarrassed. They really should be embarrassed. You got that right. I think both of them. Oh, well, let me see. She loves the attention from Man Williams looking. uh, hey, a pulled pork sandwich goes a long way. Let's see. Prince George won't be starting new school this year, despite most others his age starting year 7. You know, I don't talk about nobody's cheering. I don't make fun of nobody's cheering. I'm not going to do any of that. But that is strange. That is strange. And I'll leave it at that. George attends Lambrook with his siblings, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. But despite finishing year 6, the second in line to the throne won't be moving to secondary school just yet. Now, there was a comment by a couple of squaddies. One said, he's never going to Eton, that's for sure. The War of the Welleses went nuclear with the boarding school decision when Kitty went on strike. To be honest, I'd throw a big tantrum too, though not lie about that. Uh, if my son was being sent to school, I knew he couldn't cope in, quote unquote. All right. And so here's another quote from another squatty. I tend to agree with you. George seems very, very, very shy, whereas Charlotte seems she can handle herself. George is the polar opposite. He's not surprised. Kate doesn't want him to go to Eton. Feel like the only well-rounded person to come out of that school is Harry. So that's another quote, unquote. There you go. So that was their opinions, right? I'm not going to say anything. It is very curious, though. Let me see. That's a Gaslight article because they knew people knows how the royals operate, especially the ones who live in England that follows them. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, unfortunately, when it comes to the royals, reading tea leaves, smoke signals, and such, there's a lot in the tabloids that is, of course, fake news, lies, and such, gaslighting. And then, of course, occasionally, when they want to test something on the public, they will kind of leak a story out there and then they'll decide whether or not they should go through with it. Sometimes it's just hard to tell which is which. What are they testing? What are they doing? What's happening for sure? What has happened? And they are telling it before it leaks. All of those things could be in play. Not necessarily at the same time, of course, but sometimes they do put things out there in the tabloids, things that they want to talk about, but they really don't want to. They want to say it and not say it all at the same time. Now, that vicious bowl of jello on that golf cart, that is Donald Trump Big Loser. He referred to the vice president as a flipping B today, an effing B, right? And I don't want to play the sound for you, but um, he's holding $100 bills, if you can't tell. And one of the people covertly and secretly recorded the incident, which is why the phone seems to be at a very awkward angle. And you can see that the lens is a bit smudged. So the image is kind of cloudy, but just the same in the video, he's holding the money and he's like, "Did you see me in the debate the other night talking about with Biden?" And he said that he clobbered that old something he said. And when they said, "Yes, you did really well," or something like that, then he handed over the money. And said, "Well, he's dropping out." Yeah, they just announced that he's dropping out. And so Kamala's gonna, you know, and then that's when he referred to her by that disparaging name. But you can hear it very, very clearly. So I'm wondering if um, if that's going to be brought up during the debate. Well, actually, it was. Let me see. So he was paid to call. Come on. No, it was Trump who said that. Trump is the one who referred to her as that. Yeah, Trump said it, not the person with the phone, not the person he handed the money to. It seems as though he's talking to at least two other people. Uh, oh, well, thank you so much for that. Thank you. Before you go, may I send a massive thank you to the Royal Sussex community. I've gone through a challenging year, and my safe space has been here with the kindest, funniest, and most loving humans. Well, thank you on behalf of the Royal Sussex family. Thank you so much for your kind words, and I'm glad. I am seriously glad. I say that in the least generic way possible. I'm extremely pleased, happy, and glad that you found a safe space here. More than anything else, that is very important to me. That and the fact that you all trust me to do this work is also very important. So thank you. So he's wearing the 47 because he wants to be. Yeah, you know what? If he, God forbid, I don't think it's likely to happen, but if he ever found himself in the White House again because of this next election, he would have been the 45th and the 47th. It doesn't, it would be like that. Now, there was only one other president that I know of that has been one and then skipped and it went to the other, and that was Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was elected twice. He had two 4-year terms. Theodore Roosevelt. Yeah, Theodore Roosevelt was he was the 25th vice president, and he was the 33rd governor of New York. But when it comes to the presidency, he was The 26th president of the United States. Wait a minute. I thought he had space. Okay. He was a 26. Wait a minute. So who got elected twice? I know he was elected twice. So he was a 26th president. Was he the 23rd or 20? Okay. Okay, now I've just confused myself. Okay, maybe I was wrong about that. He was the 26th president of the United States. I thought he left office and then came back again. Oh, well, maybe I was wrong. Oh, it was Grover Cleveland, 22nd and 24th? Oh, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Grover Cleveland, that idiot? I didn't think he had enough sense. Grover Cleveland? I mean, with a name like that, he just doesn't seem smart enough to do that. 22nd and 24th president. Huh, okay. I don't know why I thought that was Theodore Roosevelt that did that. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much. That is the only time in our history that that's happened. And God forbid this evil individual would ever get that close to doing it himself. Now, where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Where are the clowns? But where are the clowns, everybody? Where are the clowns? Now, usually on this channel, there's one person in particular that I liken to being a bit of a clown. Let me see. Oh. Okay. Okay, there we go. Let me show you the one that I usually refer to as a clown. Because of the very theatrical makeup and the unfortunate canvas that it is painted upon, I usually leave that moniker for Emily Andrews. Right? But for today, it is definitely Donald Trump and family, a whole family of clowns. The plastic surgery of the Trump family revealed and their monstrous credit card bill for the operations. How much the Trumps spent on plastic surgery? 100,000, 140,000, 80, 85, 5,000. That's it. Now, who's the 5,000 for? Please tell me it's not that kid looking off the edge there. Donald Trump. Oh, please. This had to be more than that. I think that these prices are way too low. Way too low. And whatever the prices are, that they didn't pay it. They will have the surgery. They will lawyer up, and their lawyers will say, oh, we're not paying for anything because you blah, 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 blah. They always do that. That is the Trump way of doing business. They never pay their debt. They always get the lawyers. They try to wear down the plaintiff. And then by the time they pay, they're paying pennies on the dollar. That is the Trump way of doing business. They need to ask for a refund. So the Trumps are famous for their real estate, political aspirations, love of gold toilets, and their aesthetic enhancements. Plastic surgeon to the stars, Dr. Gary, whatever his name is, reveals the eye watering sum of the Trump family has spent on dozens of procedures over the decades. Dozens over the decades, they do dozens of them per year. Like, for instance, check out Don Jr. Don Jr., who seemed to have had, well, it looks like they deflated some of the face and some other things, but yeah, he looks a little different these days. But he and his brother seem to be a bit flabby, which, of course, Donald Trump doesn't like anybody fat unless it's him, right? Unless it's Donald Trump. The only fat person Donald Trump will accept is himself. And then, of course, any of the women that enter that family, like is this one Eric's wife? Yeah, I think that one's Eric's wife, Laura, whatever her name is. She's had her share of surgery. There she was, just a, you know, typical housewife or career woman, whatever. And now she has turned into one of those Trump fembots, you know, the feminine robots, like in those music videos. She has become one of the Trump fembots. And then, of course, woo, this poor wretched soul here, Guilfoyle or whatever, you know, she was prettier when she was with the governor of California, but now she has turned into quite a spectacle of her own. Why did they do this to themselves? Why? Why? It doesn't look natural. There's nothing about that that looks natural. And yet they keep doing stuff. They got to stop doing that. Really. Now, let me show you an old picture before I get too far. Let me show you an old picture. Wait, here you go. That was the brothers right there. That was the brothers. Now, what's her name? The daughter, she's already had 1,001 procedures. Um, all of the Trumps have kind of a balloon head, like a balloon face. All of them, they get that balloon face, and I think that they get it from. Well, I know Ivana. She had kind of a balloonist type of thing going on, and so it takes the skills of a plastic surgeon to, for lack of a better word, let the air out of it. I cannot believe I'm having this conversation. But yeah, they all have a certain kind of overindulged look about themselves. So, yeah, it's tough. Now, speaking of Guilfoyle, here you go. See what being in that family has done to her? Now, I mean, this is a typical lunch at Mar-a-Lago. That is a typical Mar-a-Lago lunch. The hard part is not eating your own lips, right? The hard part is not eating your own lips. Scary. It is frightening. It is torturous. That poor woman, what has she done to herself? But Eric, look at Eric. Look at Eric. Now, the other one, you know, but Eric? Ooh. And listen, I'm not even going to do Tiffany today. I'm going to leave Tiffany alone. Even if her father is a Republican, well, even if the entire family is nothing but Republicans, I am not messing with Tiffany because Tiffany is a whole nother situation. And anyway, bless her heart. I lied. Okay, you ready for Tiffany? Wait for it. Wait for it. Tiffany got so tired of her sister getting all of the attention because her sister had gotten some runway work. So one day Tiffany decided to take to the runway. She did. She decided to take to the runway. I think that whole, serious look that the model has on their face, I think she would have been better off if she would have smiled. Yeah, she should have just smiled. That model look is not for her. It's not for her. Yeah, I wouldn't do it if I were her. Uh, and let me show you what Donald Trump would look like if he hadn't had any work. If he hadn't had any work done, he would also look a bit strange. But since he has had the work done, he looks somewhat normal. Somewhat. Well, let me grab that for you. Okay, wait for it. Wait for it. Uh oh. Well, not exactly what I was looking for, but I'm going to share it anyway. This is Donald Trump after his sentencing. Once they sentence him and he has to get his head shaved, this is what Donald Trump really looks like. Underneath all of that that is what Donald Trump looks like. And then of course, because of the work that he's had done, that's another side of Donald Trump. This is before the spray tan. You see, when he makes himself orange, you don't see the blotchy skin underneath. And then, of course, one of the artistic representations of Donald Trump is this right here, right? Some artists decided to um, use some typical household items from the refrigerator and some, construction paper to come up with this very edible Donald Trump, which is interesting because I never thought him to be edible. But like I say, recollections may vary. Yeah, recollections may vary. You wait, there's more. There's more. Uh Wait, did you all know that Donald Trump had a sister? She's a judge. I think she just passed away, didn't she? Maybe. But anyway, she's a judge. I'll show you his sister. And you could tell because she just looks just like him. She really does look just like him. All of those Trumps got that weird look though. They do. They all have that weird look. Oh, you know what? I can't see the message at the bottom of the photo I'm about to show you. But I'm gonna have to put it up anyway. I'm just not gonna read it, but I'll put it up. But I can't really see the message, but let's have some fun with it anyway, shall we? Uh oh, that was one of mine right there. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this. If you're game, let's do it. So I'm gonna take that one away. And so that's the sister, the judge, Mrs. Boutfired. Mrs. Boutfired. Um, Mrs. Boutfired. And this is the one. Yeah, I was, you know what? I've had this for a long time and I couldn't see it. But that's before daddy paid for all the work. That's what she used to look like before daddy paid for all that work. Before daddy paid for all that work, that's what she used to look like. But that is why they get work done in that family. That is why they get work done. And this is why they get work done. That is why they get work done. Now remember, Tiffany's mother is Marla Maples. This is the mama of Eric, Don Jr., and Ivanka. That's, or is it Ivana? Ivanka? Yeah, Ivanka. Ivana. Ivanka. Yeah. The reason why Ivanka had so much plastic surgery. And that's just like I said, Michael Jackson took a good look at Joe Jackson and was like, I'm having some surgery. I'm about to have me some surgery. I ain't going to look like that when I get his age. That's why Michael Jackson had surgery. Joe Jackson is the reason why the Jacksons had surgery. The mama, she still looked normal. But Joe Jackson, that's why they all had surgery. Because Joe Jackson was scary, wasn't he? If I thought I was going to look like Joe Jackson, I'd have surgery too. Let me refresh your tea. No, no, no. I got to do it. Let me refresh your tea. If I thought I was going to look like that, I'd have surgery too. That's why all the Jacksons, as a matter of fact, the only family that's had more surgery than the Jacksons is the Trumps. The Kardashians, I'm not going to count them because even though some of them look phony, they still look good. Um, but they've had a lot of stuff done. Mostly, yeah, I was going to say mostly below the neck, but up top and bottom, they had stuff done. But that is the reason why Michael Jackson was like, hee. That's what made Michael Jackson go, hee. When he said he wasn't talking, that wasn't just a little improvisation for the music. He had just saw, he had taken a good look at Joe Jackson. He was like, hee. That's enough to make you hit a high note, ain't it? Yeah, Joe Jackson. A reason to have surgery. Ivana Trump, a reason to have surgery. Yep, a reason to have surgery. So, I think I have just a couple of more of these Trump's photos to show you, and then we'll continue with the vice president. Um, one of my favorite things is running down them Trumps, jab talking those Trumps. One of my favorite things. I could do it all day. I got that one picture of Donald Trump. I cannot find it, but it is so funny. Okay, I'll do this one. You all remember Divine, right? The drag queen Divine. Okay, so I'm going to do the Divine. Did I do this one? Let me do that again. Uh oh. Woo! Gotta have that one. Gotta have that one. Oh, wait. I hope I can fit that one on there too. Um, okay. How about this one? If you have like a 5-gallon jug, one of those placemats for the table, well, the one of those runners that go on the dining room table, a black box, and some red and white cardboard, look at what you can do. That's clever, ain't it? I mean, it's amazing. That's branding. Looking like that is branding. When Donald Trump came up with that horrible look of his, who knew that you could brand something like that? And did I show you this one? I did this myself. This is my work. This is my work. You're welcome. He had said that thing about Hillary Clinton, and I didn't like it. So I decided to turn him into a pig. And how about this one? Divine, the actress Divine, drag queen. Now, okay. Let me get rid of that. And I need to go back, I think, to yesterday. Yesterday, was it yesterday when I talked about Mike Pence? Let me see. I had to go back to Mike Pence because I found the other half of that article, of that image of Mike Pence. Remember the one I was saying, look at how downcast his shoulders are, how he sold his soul to be up on the Donald Trump like that. Well, I found the other version of that story. If you don't mind, I'm going to share it with you. The only thing is, oh yeah. Okay, this. Now you see that? Look at him. That is Mike Pence with his head down after his boss, after his boss, Donald Trump told him, go back and get that folder. Well, let me show you the folder. Let me show it to you. I found it. There you go. See there? Same blue necktie. He had to go back and get the folder off the desk. Don't they have secretaries? Don't they have aides that do stuff like that? Donald Trump snapped his fingers and told him to go back and get that. This is why you left Indiana to be his, that thing that he called the vice president earlier, to be his, you know what? That's why you left Indiana. How embarrassing. And that you are doing all of this in front of the nation, in front of your family. Have you no dignity, Mike Pence? Have you no dignity following Donald Trump around? Oh my God. That is so sad. They were leaving the office, and I forgot I had this picture. Donald Trump told him to go back and get that thing off the desk. and he went and did it. You were supposed to keep walking, boo. Yeah, you know what? Adrian, you are so right about that. Not when you have a folder with secrets in it. Yep, and that's exactly what it was. They walked out and they were about to leave a folder full of secrets with all of those people in the office. Yep. How about that? And Mike Pence, like a little poodle, Donald Trump's poodle, went right back and picked it up like the golden retriever he is. I wonder if he licked his face after that. Ugh. Okay. So anyway, let's move on, you guys. As much fun as I have talking about those Trumps, um, that is the Vice President Kamala Harris, the Vice President Kamala, Kamala. You know, I got a bit of a complex. I keep saying it. I interchange those pronunciations. But look at the Secret Service. Look at the Secret Service. They ain't playing, are they? They ain't playing with them. Look at the Secret Service. They are not having it. Huh? Huh? Especially bruh man over on the left and the one with the striped tie back there. Actually, both of those guys with the is that the same guy? Yeah. No, they're not. But yeah, they're very serious about their work. Very serious about their work. And I could appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Do your job. Keep them safe. That's what I like to see. Do your job. Keep them safe. Now, hello magazine. Meghan Markle's close friend reacts to personal Princess Beatrice photo. This is a stretch if I've ever seen one. So, in order to make a story about Beatrice interesting, they run this article with a picture of Meghan. And by the way, I did not click on this article. One of the squatties did, and they also explained how desperate they are to run an article about Meghan. As I said, beating up on the Sussexes is getting kind of old. They're going to continue to do it, but the negative for the sake of negative is getting old, especially when you consider that there has just been race riots in the United Kingdom. You know, the last time that they kind of toned it down was during the George Floyd, right? So they're toning it down ever so slightly because of the race riots, because they have been called out for stoking the hostility between races, for stoking the hostilities, fanning the flames of hostility against people of foreign extractions, and so on and so forth. So instead of, the usual vitriol, they've toned it down a bit. Meghan Markle's close friend reacts to personal Princess Beatrice photos. The thing is, this article ain't really got nothing to do with Meghan, but they want to use Meghan's celebrity to talk about what's her name? Nisha, Nuno, Nonu. That's who the article is about. So why is Meghan in the article? So they can trick people into reading it. That's why. No other reason. Using Meghan's celebrity, using Meghan's image for a story about Princess Beatrice. Isn't Beatrice famous enough on her own to warrant an article that does not include Meghan? Probably not. Meanwhile, Misha and Megan initially became friends after bonding over their charity work. That's how you end an article about Beatrice? Now, speaking of Beatrice, I know you guys are wondering, why do I keep showing this photo of her? It just kind of tickles me. It does. It kind of tickles me. But I found a very well illuminated version of this photo. Poor Beatrice. Why did they have to do that to her? Now, just to be a good sport, I'm going to show you a well lit, because I have not touched this photo at all. This is how the tabloids ran it. See there? Pretty girl. Much better. That's actually what she was wearing. You can barely tell from the shadows and everything here, but cute outfit. I love the way she has her hair pulled back. Lovely. Lovely. So that's the other photo. I just came across it today and I thought I'd share it with you. So I didn't do that to her. The tabloids did it. Not I. Speaking of eyes, I still say her husband is making fun of her. Either that or whatever that is contagious. Is contagious. Um, she got it from him, right? She got it from him, and then she gave it to him. That's so bad. Okay, okay. Now, you wouldn't pick her out of a crowd. The Queen's words about Sophie after they first met, but the Duchess of Edinburgh has proven to be the worthiest of wives for Prince Edward, writes Natasha Livingstone. The worthiest of wives. Sure, she is. Anyway, Sophie, who seems to have gotten a little comfortable in her role as a duchess, now she's starting to act like one of those other duchesses, meaning, um, okay, so let me put you like this. She did go over to the Olympics, right? And she's doing the Megan thing by being very tactile and affectionate, right? But she did not limit her new image to, pretending to be somebody else like Megan. The other thing that she decided to do was do a little Kate Middleton. Yep, for whatever reason. And I saw that. I'm like, ain't that somebody's mama? Ain't that somebody's mama? Why is she out there hiking her skirt up or hiking her dress up around all of those young, virile, athletic athletes at the Olympics? I mean, she's married. That's somebody's mama. That's somebody's wife. Why is she putting on such a performance? I think that that's kind of tacky, but it ain't my place to say it. But yeah, if I didn't know better, I'm just like, somebody's getting way too comfortable. Um, who is she rolling her eyes at now? Uh, I forgot she's the only working. Yeah, the only working royal. Yeah, she is the only one that's working. But like I said, she's trying to do a Kate Middleton. She's trying to do a Kate Middleton since Kate's not around to show legs. I guess she figured she'd try to pick up the slack, maybe. So she decided to she decided to start hiking her little frock above the knees, right? Well, I thought it was in poor taste when Kate did it, and I think it's poor taste for her to do it. But as I said before, I do believe that one of the things that bothered the queen is that Kate was pulling those little stunts back in the day, and it seems like Sophie is trying to make up for lost time since she wasn't able to do it during the queen's time. Now she's, older and not a bit wiser, so now she's doing it. But the queen did not like that. That was really, really tacky. And the thing is, if that was Megan, we would have never heard the end of it. Oh, she's disrespecting the queen. How could she blindside the queen? You know how they like to do that. But the queen was not a fan of all of that. It was in very poor taste. But they say the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And you know what she got that from? She got that from the air hostess. That's where she got that from. I mean, could you believe that she was running around like that? That was very disrespectful. But it's okay because she's the English rose. But the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You see where she got it from. You see where she got it from. I would be so embarrassed if my mama was running around like she worked in one of them houses. I would be I would just kill over from embarrassment if my mama was running around like she worked in one of them houses. As Archie Bunker would say, a place of irrefruit. Yep, a place of irrefruit. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. You can take the air hostess out of the airplane, but you can't take the airplane. Wait, that doesn't make sense. You could take the. Anyway, she's acting like her mama. If it wasn't for party pieces, that's probably exactly what Kate would be doing now. She'll be working as an air hostess at British Airways, a flight attendant, a stewardess, pushing that little rickety beverage cart up and down the aisles, aging by the moment, just like Carol Middleton. Yep, just like Carol Middleton. So it just goes to show anybody could be a fairy princess. All you got to do is push that beverage cart, hike your skirt up, and find a really dumb prince to marry, and you too could be a royal princess. Speaking of princesses, um, I thought about this again today, and I'm just like, did Richard Eden really put it out there, make them the Earl and Countess of Bucklebury, why Carol and Michael Middleton deserve their own titles for their heroic support of William and Kate? All it took was some doggy treats from what's his name? The son. What's that kid's name? James Middleton. All it took was some dog biscuits or beef jerky, whatever that was. You see them packages, you see the picture of James Middleton. No sooner than he delivered that little gift box full of treats for Richard Eden's dog, then Richard Eden writes an article saying, make them the Count and Countess of Bucklebury. You ain't supposed to be that obvious, right? You really shouldn't be that obvious. I told you he was a rat. You really shouldn't be that obvious. Now that I think of it, maybe Richard Eden worked in one of them houses. I don't know. Anyway, you guys, I am done. Thank you so much. Um, but during the periods of austerity, during working in one of them houses is one of the best hedges against inflation that you could have. And some people are better at that kind of work than others. I guess it depends on the house. But just remember, just like the casinos, the house always wins, right? As evident, the house always wins. Maybe she has worked in one of them houses. Uh, okay, okay. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight. Thank you so much. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Thank you, moderators, as per usual, for making this the safest space possible.